Northumberland's Farne Islands are, of course, famous for their bird colonies. They're home to 200,000 seabirds, and now, for the first time, we can see them live. We're getting these pictures in to mark 100 years of the islands being under the care of the National Trust. So we've got, what, loads and loads of razorbills there, and there at the front, right in the middle, sitting on their own, a puffin as well. The cliffs there on Farne Islands, famous for their puffin colonies. But also we've got guillemots, we've got razorbills. They're having a party live on BBC Breakfast this morning. I think I've heard footsteps. I think Sally will be with us in a moment and she will explain all. But right now, Carol is thankfully here. Good morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you, John. Loving the birds, these puffins especially.
Aren't they great?
So cute. Yes, enjoying the weather like the rest of us. Good morning, everyone. For many of us today, it's going to be dry, it's going to be sunny, and it's going to be warm for most as well. And that is the scenario as we go through the rest of this week. In fact, if you're wondering how long the dry, sunny conditions will last, certainly into next week, but by the end of next week, there's a chance we might just start to see a change. Once again, we're looking at temperatures into the 20s, and we'll continue in that note as well. Hello, Sally.
Hi.
Afternoon.
I made it, everyone.
Oh, it's
Morning,
great to
Carol.
see you.
Oh, it's so nice to be here. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
Bit of a drama, you're right.
Oh, John, yeah, I'm OK, thank you. I got stuck in a car. You know, where our studios are, it's by the quays, basically, so there's lots of water and bridges. I got stuck because a bridge came up to let two boats through, and the bridge couldn't close again. So there's been lots of people, like, trying to close the bridge, people in high-vis jackets, staring at it, pointing at it. So that took about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're the best part of an hour.
Yes,
Sally was texting me like, I
can't get to work.
Can't leave the car.
But you know what happened? As ever, the breakfast family kicked in, and our John Watson was at the back of the traffic jam, and I safely left my car, ran all along the bridge, and John rescued me and has driven me in.
If you were going to be rescued, John Watson is the man to rescue.
He is the man, yes.
Yeah. It's like James Bond.
So apologies that I'm a little bit late.
That's right.
Did I miss anything?
Just the news.
Yes, everything.
Yeah. Thank goodness you're here, and it's only 20 past 6.
You're here is the thing.
Yeah, that would have been... Well, quite a lot of the team have also got tied up in the whole thing. Yeah, right. Anyway, let's move on. Can he make it rain, though? That's the question, because, Carol, we've not had much. Morning.
No, we haven't, John. Good morning, everyone. And there's not much on the horizon in the next few days either. In fact, this is one of our Weather Watchers pictures from earlier today. You can see blue skies. It's in Eastbourne, but it's not like this everywhere because there is quite a bit of low cloud, some mist and fog around. As you can see, North Queensferry, beautiful picture here of the Forth Rail Bridge. Now, as we go through the next few days, not much is going to change. And here are some stats for you. Spring 2025 so far, it's on track to be the driest on record. Sunshine amounts, well, again, it's on track to be the sunniest spring on record. Spring, the meteorological spring, is March, April and May, so of course it's not finished yet. And temperature-wise, again, warmest since 1960. And the status quo more or less remains the same. There's a small chance, that's all it is at the moment, that at the end of next week, low pressure might take over. And if that happens, it will turn a bit more unsettled. But the jury's very much out on that one.
And that's still quite a way off.
It still is.
And isn't that also the bank holiday weekend?
It is.
OK.
Who would have thought?
Of course. Of course it is. Carol, thank you.
Pleasure.
What's going on? We're so used to sunshine at the moment, aren't we?
I know,
when the skies aren't bright blue, we think there's something gone wrong.
Well, across many parts of Scotland and also eastern and central England, there's a lot of low cloud this morning, some fog as well. But that will lift and most of us will see some sunshine today. Good morning, everybody. In fact, not just today, but as John and Sal alluded to there, for the next few days as well.
The Environment Agency warns of possible water shortages this summer after the driest spring on record. Should we look outside and see how the weather's looking this morning here? Because I think it's...
Can we see?
Going to be... There we go. We're in Chesterfield there, and it's onto the canal. It's not as bright and sunny, is it, as it has been?
No.
But we're reporting this morning that the Environment Agency is warning of Possible water shortages in parts of the country after the driest start to spring on record.
Well, our reporter Jess Lane is there in Chesterfield, where the Canal Trust has had to cancel cruises because of the low water levels in the river nearby. Morning, Jess. Just tell us more. Tell us what you can.
Yeah, morning. Well, you can see the two canal boats just there. They would normally, at this time of year, be travelling up and down the Chesterfield Canal 3 or 4 times a day. But as you can see, they're having to be moored up, and they've been there since Sunday. And that's because the lack of rain means that the water levels in the river Rother nearby are low, so they can't top up the canal from the river. And they also can't open this lock here because the water levels would then drain away.
Carol, can we expect any water in the forecast?
There's not much, Sal.
No.
There's a couple of showers today, and then the weather remains settled as high pressure's in charge. There's a chance, potentially, towards the end of next week, low pressure might come in, but that's all it is at the moment, a chance. And if it does, the weather will turn more unsettled. And as John was saying earlier, it's a bank holiday weekend.
Of course.
Typical, isn't it? Good morning, everybody. This morning, if you're just stepping out, it's not a particularly cold start to the day. Temperatures a little bit lower than they were yesterday. It's 9 degrees in Sheffield and 11 degrees currently in London. Now, we've been talking about how dry it has been, and it's going to continue that way as we go through the rest of the week. Then, mentioning the UV levels, actually, it's an important one. Pollen levels today are low, but UV levels are high. The sun is as strong now as it is in August. John and Sal are quite right. It's been dry and it's going to continue to be so as well. You can see lovely blue skies taken a wee bit earlier this morning in Eastbourne. Now, today what we're looking at is high pressure once again. And interestingly enough, some parts of the country haven't seen rain for a long time. So in St Andrews, for example, there hasn't been rain for the last 25 days. In Blackpool and Sheffield for 21 days, 22 days in Penrith. So we really do need this rain, which isn't really in the forecast at the moment.
And it's unusual for us to say that, isn't it, Carol?
It really is.
Yeah.
Carol, thank you very much indeed. We're going to stay with this because, as Carol's been telling us, this spring is on track to be the driest since records began. The Environment Agency now warning of possible water shortages, and we've got a map that we can show you here.
The effects of the warm weather are already being seen in waterways across the country, with those latest figures showing 14 of England's rivers now experiencing exceptionally low river flows.
I don't get it.
You took well, you will later. And it's just 100 days until the Women's Rugby World Cup tournament kicks off. We've got an exclusive reveal of the trophy later. That looks like a very fancy trophy. That's just the box. So if the box is that fancy, imagine what the trophy looks like. It took 3 years to make.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? Exciting.
Do you reckon they've got any hairspray under that box?
Yeah, it's a bit windy at the moment on the balcony.
I was just going to say, well done for managing that. Helen, do you need a hair bubble? I've got one spare if you want one.
No.
Oh dear.
We'll see you in an hour,
I'm
and
in trouble.
we won't be late, will we?
We definitely won't
Definitely
be late.
won't be late. Right.
Definitely never being late again.
Time now, right now. While the machine was doing that in 45 seconds, I've done one side in about 45 seconds. How are you getting on, Sal?
I've done OK.
What? Did you keep that book? Or was it a robot?
I just love a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Carol, you could sort anything.
I am so impressed.
Don't be. Really, don't be.
Matches your dress, though.
Yes, it does. And it doesn't quite match the sky, because the sky this morning for many of us is blue. And for the next few days, we're going to continue in this vein. A lot of dry weather, a fair bit of sunshine around, and it will still be quite warm. So, for the last few days, many of us have not seen any rain. In fact, in St Andrews, it's been 25 days since we last saw some rain, 21 in Blackpool, 22 in Penrith and 21 in Sheffield. And even into next week, we still are looking at a lot of dry weather, but now it's looking like the end of the week, it could all change.
So the rain might come?
Yes.
Doesn't matter, because we're going indoors now. We're going indoors.
Northumberland's Farne Islands are famous, of course, for their bird colonies. They're home to 200,000 seabirds.
I've always wanted to go and see the
Me
puffins.
too.
And look, now we can.
Let's go.
Look, we can watch them
We're there.
live, remotely, from home for the first time.
To mark 100 years of the islands being under the care of the National Trust, webcams have been installed during the breeding season.
And this is the perfect time to see them. It's packed on those cliffs.
Very busy.
We see some puffins there on the right, loads of puffins, and then on the other side of the island, the other camera shows some razorbills. There are guillemots. They could spread out a bit, really, couldn't they? They're all crammed into...
They're all chatting each other up, aren't they? It's the breeding season.
Oh, is it? That's what's going on?
Yeah, that's what's going on there, John.
OK. I wouldn't know.
Apparently.
13 minutes past 9. Carol has the weather for us. A little grey there in Fine Islands.
There is some low cloud around this morning, John, across parts of Scotland and northern England, but most of it should burn away. And then for many, it's going to be another beautiful day with lots of sunshine. Something to look forward to. And it's not just today. In fact, for the next few days, even into next week, we're looking at a lot of sunny and dry, warm weather, and the cards, rather like we've got here this morning in Hampshire, lovely blue skies.
Hi Nina, my long experience of weather forecasting tells me as soon as anyone starts to talk about water shortages, it starts to rain. And OK, there's no rain in the immediate future, but the last week of this month, it looks like things will start to turn wetter. Before we get there, though, we've got loads more in the way of sunshine. How dry will this spring end up being? Well, at the moment, we've only had 80 millimetres of rain recorded in spring, which is March, April and May. And OK, the last week of the month will bring us some rain. So we might end up being somewhere around here. It looks like it's probably going to be the driest spring for over 100 years, though. And we've been used to charts like this, haven't we? Wall-to-wall sunshine, really, for the vast majority today, through much of the rest of the week, the weekend, and into the early part of next week.
Hello there, good afternoon. Well, it really has been a beautiful day so far. Plenty of fine, dry weather and lots of sunshine. Bright blue skies as captured here by one of our weather watchers in Hammersmith.
It's looking lovely out there in Salford today.
Yes, and lovely across most parts of the UK as well, Nina. We've got lots more of this fine, settled, sunny weather to come, but there may well be a change on the distant horizon with the weather turning more unsettled for the last week of the month. Before we get there, today, got this stripe of cloud, not much left on it at all, but that is a cold front. It's already moved through Scotland. Earlier today, we had a bit of patchy cloud, although the sun's now back out. That cold front, though, has introduced some much cooler and fresher air. So yesterday, we reached 25.5 Celsius at Tyndrum and Auchincruive, the warmest day of the year so far for Scotland. Today, those temperatures are about 8 degrees Celsius lower.
So here we go, the weather from Mars, and I didn't even have to put a spacesuit on, winning. Now, I don't suppose these little ones care too much about space, probably just about food, maybe a bit of weather. We've got some cloudy starts over the next few days, particularly tomorrow, but as the days go on, they will get brighter into the afternoon, and also temperatures coming up into the 20s for many of us, but it is cooler at the east coast with that breeze coming in. You can see, though, sunshine is on offer as the days emerge, and those temperatures pretty pleasant. That's the weather. Here's the pollen. There's a bit of tree pollen around and a bit of grass pollen, but their levels are still fairly low, which is just as well because our air is quite still under all that high pressure. That's it from me here at the Natural History Museum. Actually, no, scrap that. From me here in space, cheerio.
We were talking earlier about warnings of possible drought. You've got news of some rain which could be on the way. Obviously timed with a bank holiday.
Of course.
Of course.
So, yes, there is a potential for some rain and it to turn quite unsettled for the end of this month, which will really skew potentially all the spring figures. But a long way off, and yes, it could arrive for the bank holiday weekend, I'm afraid. Different story today, though, in Scotland. Yesterday, it was your warmest day of the year, just shy of 26 degrees. Today, cloudy skies, a weak weather front, which did sink its way steadily south and weaken all the time, but it's introduced slightly cooler air in Scotland today, not as gloriously warm. Elsewhere, though, there has been a lot of sunshine around and temperatures have peaked into the low to mid-20s for some.
And this wonderful project is going to last from now until September.
Thanks, Layla, and a lovely evening for it too. Hello, you. Many people loving the sunshine, but of course, as we've been hearing, the ground needs some rain.
It's getting very dry, isn't it? My garden's starting to look a little bit sad. I mean, beautiful blue sky and sunshine, we're all enjoying it, but no rain in the forecast this week. No rain in the forecast for most of next week, but I can tell you that there is the potential for some rain, by the time we get towards the bank holiday weekend, it's a long way off, so don't shout at me just yet, but there is a potential that it all turns pretty unsettled for the end of this month. But for now, we've had another glorious day. Again, lots of sunshine. However, tomorrow morning, be prepared. You might actually wake up to quite a bit of cloud around first thing and a brisk northeasterly wind. So we're back to that breeze coming in off the North Sea, driving in the cloud.
Hello. For most of the UK, Wednesday was another beautifully sunny day. A lot of dry weather around, and in the sunshine, again, it was pretty warm. But we had some patchy clouds to start the day in East Scotland and North East England. That cloud was a cold front.
And at the end of another dry, sunny and warm day, Becky is in Hadley Park in Essex. Becky, I hear even more sun on the way.
There is even more sun on the way. You're absolutely right. It is gorgeous at the moment, isn't it? And it continues to be so, really, for as far ahead as we can reasonably see. Although I have to say that here on the East Coast, there is a noticeable and rather chilly northerly breeze, which is going to certainly become a feature for the next couple of minutes for me standing out in it, and increasingly a feature for those eastern parts over the next few days. So why is it so dry and settled at the moment? Well, it's because of high pressure. Our friend high pressure, which is sitting over the top of us at the moment. And if you have a look, you can see that we've got high pressure sitting in a blocked pattern over us, and that means that we've got low pressure either side and high pressure in the middle. In the winter, this would actually give us very cold conditions, but it gives us lovely sunny stuff in the summer months. Now, if we have a look and we run that, you can see that here we've got another view of that, and that's what we would call an omega block, because it takes the shape of the Greek letter, the omega letter. Now, we are expecting very little to be changing over the next few days. In fact, even if we jump ahead to Monday, which is as far as I can go on the data that I can see, there's very little change. Still the high pressure in control and still the lows either side. So still blocked, dry, settled and sunny. Now, if you were planning to go on holiday over the next few days, have a look at these holiday hotspots and save your money, because it's going to be gorgeous here and not much difference at all in those temperatures. Let's have a look now at the forecast for the next few days. So let's have a look at our weather menu then for the next few days. It is looking, no surprises, we are looking at more in the way of the sunshine and the warm conditions over the next few days, although we are expecting, as I mentioned, that nagging northerly breeze to keep things cooler down the eastern fringes. In fact, if I start juggling, it's actually just because I'm trying to stay warm. It is actually getting quite chilly down here on the east coast at the moment. Well, it's definitely worth noting on the more serious point that we are starting to get a little bit twitchy about the lack of rain. And this is a story that we're going to be increasingly watching over the next few days and weeks. But for now, though, just enjoy the gorgeous sunshine. It's cold, though.
Becky, thank you.